Hey everyone, it's Anthony Kirby, another episode of Business Success. And with me, if you're watching the video, you'll see the illustrious Ash Brown from Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, Ash.
Hey, how's it going, Anthony?
Good, thank you. Ash is a bundle of energy, and I can't wait to get stuck in so that you can learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable is the topic for today's show. Now I'm going to let Ash do the intro as I always do for all of the guests. But before I get started, if you do like the show and if you like any of the content that you're hearing, please make sure that you subscribe, share, and leave me a comment so that I can see what we need to do to improve or what you're enjoying so we can get you more of it into the future. And remember to head over to Facebook and you can join the Business Success group. It's facebook.com/groups/yourbusinesssuccess. So before we go any further, I'd just like to welcome Ash to the show. And Ash, do you just want to take a few seconds just to introduce yourself to the audience today?
Yes, thank you. Well, definitely, I want to say thank you to you, Anthony, for the invite onto your show. I appreciate you so much. And I definitely want to say hello to all of your audience and everyone that is listening to me. My name is Ash Brown. I'm the CEO of Ash Said It LLC. It is a public speaking boutique. I know everybody's questioning, what is a public speaking boutique, Ash? I'm glad you asked. A public speaking boutique is where I host an array of different events. So from album launches to fashion expos to wedding receptions or your next VIP event. You want Ash there, you can holler at your girl, ashsaidit.com.
I love it. How's that for an intro? It's like an elevator pitch / intro. It's really good. And I know, like, we spoke before we started recording here, Ash, and you know, your story is really interesting, and I'd love to share that in a second when we get to it. But just for the purpose, if you're listening to the show or watching the video, Ash is really, she's got to a place where she is pushing her comfort zone the whole time. And the reason that I want to get her on the show is to really, I know I get a lot of people on the show who talk about systems and processes and Facebook advertising and all that stuff that is relevant. But what's also relevant is being comfortable being in that uncomfortable space, because in business you're going to find yourself there so many times, and it's really important to know how to deal with it. And so Ash is going to share with you in a moment some of her sort of advice or her guidance as to how you can get really comfortable if you have to stand in front of a room of people, if you have to jump in front of a camera, if someone asks you a question at an event, that sort of thing. So Ash, just give us a bit of background into what's led you to where you are today.
Yeah, well, definitely the small abridged version of what I've been and what has been Ash Said It LLC is back in December of 2013, I went off to join the Army. I wanted to do something new. It's something that was always in my heart, and I always want to serve my country. And so I went off December 30th. On the 31st, my mom passed away. And anyone that knew me knows that my mom was my everything. She was my source of just inspiration for life, for everything. And when she passed, I just lost my will to really continue with the Army services. So I did not finish basic training. I came back home and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, this totally threw my world into a whole tailspin. And I started doing little small jobs, little small gigs that I was familiar with because I had done them previously, but I didn't necessarily love. Sometimes you just want to do stuff to keep yourself going, to keep yourself moving, but I didn't have a purpose in it. So after a while, those things grow really, really tired and really, really bothersome and boring for me. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to just jump ship because that's, I'm totally good with just jumping ship and just start a brand new. I jumped ship and I said, you know what? I've got to figure out something for me. So I went into a whole meditation mode for maybe a couple of weeks or so. And I started to think and really get into what are my gifts? What are my talents? What are people always getting at me for? And I was like, you know what? People are always trying to get me in front of a camera. They're always trying to get me to do their voiceover, their narration stuff. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start a company. And that's going to be the focal point of this company. Ash Said It was born through that. And as far as being comfortable, being uncomfortable, practice makes perfect. That is the first and foremost thing that you need to do. Anything that you want to do, no matter what it is, if you want to be a public speaker, if you want to be a social media maven, whatever it is, you need to practice your butt off. Because At the end of the day, practice makes perfect. No one's going to pay an amateur to just do something and maybe possibly get it done or maybe possibly halfway, do it. They want somebody that's a professional. They want someone that's done it 10 million times. So it's like nothing to just switch it off and do it. So in conjunction with being an MC at events, I'm also a wedding officiant. So I officiate over weddings. I marry people, the lovelies, we get the couples together. Anthony, if you got any prospects, I can do a video. Okay. If y'all want to do renewal, if you want to do renewal of vows, I can do that. Tell the wife I'm there. I'm totally there. But in conjunction with that, I'm a blogger. I'm a travel blogger. I'm an event blogger. So I get into the most elite events around the whole Southeast, which is awesome. So I get top notch at Whiskeys of the World events, Atlanta Wine Party, any of the major events that happen in the Southeast. I'm usually VIP somewhere for. So this weekend I'm actually going to Vineyard Fest, which is at Chateau Alon. If you guys don't know about Chateau Alon, that is the most elite of elite. It's a vineyard that's here in Brazelton, Georgia. And anyone that's ever been to Georgia or heard about it, you know about Chateau Alon. That's some big stuff, big fun stuff. So you gotta really hone at your craft. You have to practice. You cannot do anything without practicing it. You cannot do anything without honing that talent. And the more that you practice, the more that you develop it, the more you'll even figure out if this is what you want to do.
And I love that
the
you
main thing, practice.
Yeah, and that's such great advice, and I know that's relevant for anyone in business or even in your personal life as well. That applies to, and I think there's a saying, and it goes something like, "It's better to sweat in practice than it is to bleed in battle." And I love that because it's the same sort of analogy that you come from. I just want to take you back a few minutes to something that you mentioned. When your mum passed away and you sort of went on your journey of self-discovery, if we want to call it that, I love the fact that you asked that question of what is my genius? What am I good at? Because there's so many people out there who do lots of things that they're not good at when they should be doing the one thing that they're good at and being really good at it.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of trying to be all things to all people.
And then, yeah, absolutely. And when you're going through a trying time like I was going through, I had people that were hitting me up all the time. Oh, Ash, you should do this. Or, oh, you should jump into that. Or I think you'd be good at this. I think you'd be good at that. Everybody is always going to have their suggestions for what they think you should do. But having that time alone with myself and being able to think and actually look at my resume, to look at what I've done previously. People don't even realize I've been in the industry for well over maybe like 14, 15 years, through media, through music videos, through television. So I have a pretty nice, decent background in the world of entertainment that people don't know about. Just because I don't necessarily talk about it doesn't mean that it's not there. So with that in the mind, people say, oh, you should go back into acting. You should do this. I'm like, that's really not where my heart is at. That's not really that, something that gives you that drive, that passion, that burning desire within, that's what you need to jump into. You need to work at it too.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about what you've learned on your journey. Because again, like I said to you at the top of the show before we pressed record, often for me, what I find is that the learnings that we have as business owners, as whatever term you want to give yourself, entrepreneur, whatever loose term you want to use, the learnings are where the power lies. And I think in sharing those learnings, that's really the gift that we give, that continues to give. So what are the learnings that you've had, Ash, in your journey so far? What are the mistakes that you've made, and what are the good things that have happened that you've taken?
Absolutely. One of the mistakes that I made was when I was in my situation and I was going through the whole grief process, I allowed other people to drop their knowledge in on me on what they felt like I should be doing. I let too many people in my circle that really didn't have my best interest at heart. And in that, I didn't have my own voice. And essentially, I didn't even believe in myself, honestly, believe it or not, is because I was so I was so jaded to the situation, and I just wanted to feel involved. I wanted to feel purposeful in something, that I didn't realize that, you know what, you really lost yourself in this whole situation because you're trying to please, X, Y, and Z people, and they don't even care about you. So really, what is the purpose that you're, that you're trying to fulfill?
Yeah.
So when I dropped all those crazy people, because there was a lot of crazy people, it was some crazy, some real out there people. All right, I'm not gonna lie about it. And I look back now and I'm like, wow, I don't even know. I had no business hanging with those caliber of folks. But after I got away from those people, I started to believe in myself. And that was the first time, I think, really honestly in life, that I actually looked within myself and I started to believe in my talent versus believing what other people said that I should do, or believing what other people said that I was. The fact that I was able to start to believe in myself, that was the biggest lesson that I've ever learned, is believing in something, and really stepping into that belief and standing firmly in it. And once that happened, the floodgates opened up. Things started to really happen for me. And it all stemmed from me taking that leap out on faith and believing that I was capable of doing these things. I was capable of doing these events. I was capable of traveling and blogging and giving my opinion on things. I was capable of doing the wedding ceremonies. And everything else that has followed since then has come from me believing in myself first. So not worrying about what other people have to say, because people are always going to have an opinion. I'm sure you know this. Someone's always going to have something to say about what you're doing or how you did this or how you should do that. Toss that to the side. Toss that to the wind. It's good to have an understanding of where people stand, but don't let that sit up and divert you from your path. Don't let that control where you're going.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think, I was just making a couple of notes as you said that, Ash, because, what really stands out for me is the concept of choosing your environment well. There are, as you said, everyone's got an opinion, and frankly, they're not always the best thing to listen to. And ultimately, yes, it's nice to sort of take a balanced view on things, but I think the ultimate lesson in all of that is that you have to trust your own instincts first.
Yeah.
And that's great advice. Yeah, and really, when you're in that situation, and it's not easy, is it? When you realize that you've got people in your life that aren't the best people in your life, which I suppose then comes down to making sure you've got a solid purpose behind why you're doing what you're doing, so that you know that if you make that shift away from those people, that you've got the strength behind you to push forward.
Absolutely.
And Ash, just to finish up the show, where can people find out about you? Like, because I love your energy. You're very vivacious, and I'm sure there's going to be some people who are listening to this who want to come and check out more about you. So where can they do that?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone can check me out on ashsaidit.com. That is ashsaidit.com. I'm across all social media platforms at One Love Ash, the number one Love Ash. If you guys want to hit me up, if you're going to email about something, info@ashsaidit.com. That is info@ashsaidit.com. I'm all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Keek, Vine, Snapchat.
Everywhere. You're everywhere.
Snapchat. I'm starting to get into it.
Yeah, I don't know the Snapchat thing.
Really
I can't really get into the Snapchat thing. It's not really doing it for me yet.
It's interesting. I have my little cousin that's been teaching me about it, so I've been trying to get more. I'm trying to get better with it. I post Snap from time to time, and I'm trying to get up on it. But I'm there. I am there.
That's the thing. It's the consistency is the key. Ash, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, that's another tip.
Thank you for sharing some of your lessons. Thank you for sharing your energy with us, and I really appreciate it. And guys, go over, check out ashsaidit.com, and I will make sure that link goes into the show notes if you're looking at the show notes. And remember to jump onto iTunes or Stitcher or your platform of choice, leave us a review, and press the subscribe button so you can listen to every single episode. I will speak to you guys later. Until then, I wish you all the best with your business success. I will see you in the next episode.